So I've completed Jedi Fallen Order. So does that make me an honorary Jedi?
You feel it? I want more. You're gonna die here.
Where the fuck are all these come from? Just a reminder before we start this review, I stream every Monday, Tuesday, Thursday, Friday on Twitch. The link will be down in the description below. Appreciate anyone who can support with liking this video and subscribing to the channel as well. That'd be a great help and I would appreciate it. But without further ado, let's get on with the review. So, I mean, Star Wars Jedi Fallen Order. Another Star Wars game by EA. People were skeptical, to say the least, which is understandable with everything that the Star Wars fans have gone through with game-wise from EA. However, I can safely say this is a complete surprise at how great it is. Respawn truly delivered with this game. Truly delivered. One thing I will say with regards to spoilers, this is the only spoiler. It's not really a story spoiler, but it is still a spoiler. So if you don't want to hear it, forward it 20 seconds in the video. 20 seconds. There is no dark side. There is no choice. Like previous games, like the Jedi Knights, you can't choose to be a dark. It's a linear story. That's it. That's the end of the spoiler bit. What else can I say about the game, really? It's a great game. It's amazing. The combat feels exactly what you'd expect from a Jedi's point. It can be fairly basic at sometimes, gets very parry and kill. The backtracking's a great idea. My main gripe with the game is there's no real customization in regards to your skill set or your power or anything like that. Everything you get from the chests in the game is just a cosmetic item. That's it. It changes the look of your character, the look of your droid, the look of your ship, and obviously the look of your lightsaber. That is it. The only time you get increases is when you spend skill points or upgrade the droid or get the new force abilities, as if that was like new equipment in a Metroid game, so, well, Metroidvania style game, stuff like that. The lack of actual customization of, say, equipment and actually customization of the character and how they look is a little bit of a downside. It's just reskins and recolors. That's all it is. It is a bit of a shame, but it is what it is. The story is phenomenal. It starts off from action and then just carries on going through. It's a great story through twists and turns. The enemy variation isn't great. But then it's kind of what you expect, I suppose, with the style of game it is. You know, it's they're not gonna really vary up with the enemy type because you're kind of expecting stormtroopers and get wildlife that you fight and stuff like that, and bosses. Can't remember how many bosses there are in the game, but there's quite a few and they're quite fun. I was playing on the Jedi Master difficulty, so the second to hardest, and the game was still challenging. It was challenged all the way through. The last boss especially was quite challenging. Some people compare it to Dark Souls. I would compare maybe the combat to Dark Souls a little bit, and obviously the meditation, save points, rest and stuff like that. So that's just where the comparison goes, I think, personally for me. People say they're expecting a Dark Souls style combat where it's going to be punishing and hard. Whilst it's punishing, it's not particularly hard, because you can block, whereas with Dark Souls, blocking isn't really a thing, it's more dodging. It's not really Dark Souls-esque, honestly. And whereas with Dark Souls, if you fight 5 or 6 enemies at once, it's incredibly difficult, whereas with this, it's just block, 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 roll, block, block. There's not really much to it in regards to that. The music is very Star Wars-like. The the lack of loading screens. Well, people say loading screens are hidden loading screens. You know, when you're in ship waiting for it to go through hyperspace, or when you're in an elevator, stuff like that. Whilst the maps are fairly linear when you're going through the story aspects of them, there is a lot of twists and turns that you can go through. There's a lot of area to explore. There's a lot of secrets to find. And you can find secrets in the form of force echoes, which increase your health and your mana. Or not mana, sorry, force. Besides that, it's not really, besides the skill points, much in the way of increasing your stats or anything like that. You can't do more lightsaber damage, increase your block chance or anything like that, which I thought would have been an extremely good way of adding to the game, because the game is fairly shallow in regards to its customization. Can't customize how Cal looks. Like I said, clothes, everything like that is standard through the same game. Customization is just the colors. What I personally loved about the game is, like I said, the story and the combat. The combat is great. I love it, especially when you're fighting bigger enemies, because you can't just hit them and kill them in one. It takes some tactical, you know, and some of them are immune to force slow, so you can't just force slow your way out of it. Brings us to the force abilities. You get the standard push, pull, lightsaber throw, and then obviously force slow. Force slow is the newest one. I don't think we've ever seen that before in Star Wars, and it's great. Played it for about 20 hours, and that was when about the time I completed it. It was about a 20-hour campaign, so it's not a bad campaign for the game it is. I thought it was a bit short, but now I've really thought about it. Most games are what? Some games are 5-6 hours for the campaign, so 20 hours is not bad on the second hardest difficulty. The character development and the character story, backstory, and the voice acting and just the acting in general is great. They've done extremely well with it, and it feels like a true to the canon Star Wars game. It's a great game, and I would highly recommend anyone checking it out. You'll be pleasantly surprised. Even if it's EA and you don't want to support EA, check it out, because Respawn have done a phenomenal job. And I tip my hat, I take my hat to them, hat off to them there, because they've managed to capture what the essence of Star Wars, the essence of being a Jedi Knight, and just run with it. Absolutely run with it, and it's a great game. Yeah, and that's kind of pretty much it for the review, honestly. I can't really think of anything else to really talk about. You know, it's the customization, like I said, the TLDR of it is customization is very shallow. There's not much to it. There's no upgrading. There's upgrading your abilities, but there's no upgrading your equipment or anything like that. It's a pure action game. It's not really an RPG style game, and the story is just immense. The music is great. The combat is amazing. I loved it, and it's just a generally pleasant experience playing it, and I would generally play it again. I would recommend it. Right, thank you for watching, everyone. I do appreciate it. Remember, I stream every Monday, Tuesday, Thursday, Friday on Twitch. Link down in the description. You could like the video and subscribe to the channel. I would appreciate it. And I will see you next time for my next review. Bye.